heat that up. Ta-da. Your solder should look real smooth and it should be shiny. So talking a little bit about soldering technique, you noticed I heated up the spot I wanted to solder first, and I put solder on the spot that I want to solder. Let it sit for a second, pull it off. Don't let the wires move until the solder cools. If you let it move before it cools, the solder joint, you'll get what's called a cold solder joint. A cold solder joint does not conduct electricity very well. If you get a cold solder joint anywhere in here, what will usually happen is you'll lose a lot of bass and you can lose a lot of output. The pickup's going to sound really funny. So you can see that that's got a nice flow to it. It's shiny. I can feel the pot. It spins really easily. I didn't burn it. You notice it only took, I don't know, 10 seconds to do that joint. Now I have to figure out, well, which wire is which? Well, the longest wire is probably the bridge pickup. The next longest, the shortest wire is probably the neck pickup, and I can test that by pushing on it. See how that's moving there? I can see that white wire going up there. That's my neck pickup. So let's put that one on. I'm going to run that down across and over to that lug right there. So I'm going to cut a little bit off of here. The longer you have of a wire length, the more noise it can pick up. When you're using this old style non-shielded wire, but it sounds really good. It's a good wire. Okay, so notice I already had solder in there, so I just reheated the solder a little bit, poked the wire through. And I don't want to just use old reheated solder, so I'm going to reheat it a little bit and reheat it, add a little bit of new solder. Beautiful. See how nice and shiny that came out. Okay, let it cool for a second. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the middle. Pick up. Throw all your stuff in a box. I actually have a solder removing tool that I use. I don't have it here with me though. You can go and remove all that old solder before you start again. Okay, I'm going to reheat that a little bit and just a little bit of solder. Now I'll give you another tip. You need to be careful about how much solder you put on the switch, because I don't know if you can see this or not, but these little tabs I'm soldering to are connected to a little finger that connects to your switch surface. If you get too much solder, it can run down and it can connect to that finger, and then it's going to solder your switch shut. So you just want to use a little bit of solder on there. Now, one more. The bridge pickup. Pushback wire. Now, if your wire was not pre-tinned like this, and you could actually see several strands of wire that were loose there, you'd want to pre-tin it by just putting a little bit of solder on it like that. Of course, we don't use that stuff. We use the good stuff. Okay, that's my last joint. I'm going to reheat it. I don't know if you notice it, but I let that wire wiggle when I put that in the first time, and you can see that that solder is dull looking. That's because it was wiggling while it was cooling, and that's crystallizing the solder, and that's what you call a cold solder joint. Now look how shiny it is. Okay, we're set. Might be a good idea at this point to bring an amp in, plug the amp in, and check and make sure the pickups are actually working and that you got it soldered together. You start with the first pickup, and you plug it into the amp and you just tap on it. You should get a noise on that pickup with the selector switch there, and you shouldn't get any noise on the other ones. Go to position 2, you should get a noise there and there, but not there. Noise there, no other noise, and so on, just to make sure that everything's copacetic, because right now is a good time to be able to troubleshoot and see what you did wrong, if you did do anything wrong. But it's ready to put back in. I can tell all the wires in the right place because the pick guard's all the way down flat with the body. So we're almost there. Put some screws back in. And you can save your old pickups for some other project. Okay. To remind you, I would not tighten the screws all the way down with a driver. Unless you're just a super pro at it. I'm leaving them just a little bit shy. So I get them real close. You just go around and snug it down just a little bit. Just finger tight, they call it. Finger tight. Yeah. We're in. Tighten these back up and we're ready to rock. Okay. Now I'm just going to do some real brief adjusting on it. With the, press the strings down about as high as you would normally play, which to me that's maybe the 15th fret. And I'm going to raise the bridge pickup up about, I'll try about 3/32 away from the bottom of the string. Just get it roughed out. And the middle, maybe about an 1/8, maybe away from the strings. And the neck, an 1/8, or maybe just a tiny little bit lower than an 1/8. Your bridge pickup, you can raise it up actually quite high because there's no, there's a lot of magnetic pull at the end of a magnet like this, like they use in a fender, but there's not much leverage for it to pull it by the bridge, so you can actually raise that quite high before it hurts your sustain or pulls the string out of tune. If you get the neck pickups a little more touchy, if you get that neck up too close, maybe you'll be able to hear this. You'll hear it. Starting to go out of tune. It's starting to sound funny there. Should lower it back down and get it more of a pure tone. So that's how we do it. I hope it's been helpful for you.